And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Quivs here, Quivs does stuff. Today we're flying my Mobula 6 FPV drone around a holiday house I went on recently, early in March. Around the house and outside the house, somewhat. This flight takes place on several different days. These are my family, brother, brother-in-law, sister, sister-in-law. I won't bother telling you who's who, there's people. Yeah, this was a pretty nice place. It was actually really great to fly a drone around, especially an indoor drone, because there were lots of rooms. There was the stairs to go up and down. There was a pool table to go under and over and around in different directions. For a lot of this, I was still feeling my way around. Like, this is the very, very first day flying. Getting up and down these stairs actually took a bit of practice. I couldn't do it straight away. It took me some time to get it. But we can also go outdoors, which is great. It was a little bit breezy. I normally flew in the morning, and there was kind of a morning breeze that came over the top of the house and headed down towards the beach that you can sort of see over there in the distance. This is not the greatest camera for this sort of stuff, but hey, the camera is suitable for me just flinging an FPV drone around, and that's what it's for. It's not really about the great DVR footage that you get from it. That's not its purpose. If I wanted something like that, I would have, you know, something with a GoPro or an Insta360 or one of these other specialist cameras designed for that sort of purpose mounted to it. And I do technically have one of those drones, but I've already broke it. I have a Gep RC Tiny Go HD, I think it's called. The Tiny Go, which has a 4K camera on it. But yeah, I've already broken it. So anyway, doesn't matter. So that's the end of the first battery. I mean, that wasn't the whole battery. That was only the end of the battery that I recorded. I didn't turn the DVR straight away, but this is a fresh battery. I think, again, I didn't turn the DVR on straight away. Also, this DVR has a weird thing where you start recording and it doesn't actually start making a file for several seconds. So you often miss, you know, the arm and takeoff. Yeah, getting up and down these stairs took me some time. Here I've discovered, hey, you can go under the pool table and then around this pillar and then under the pool table. No, not under the pool table, the other way. Eventually I do go under the pool table the other way. Not every flight that I took is on the DVR. I got better in places. This is literally day one, first flights. Back outside, I wasn't super confident about flying outside at first. I was worried about wind gusts and stuff, and you know where the drone could go, where it couldn't go. I know I can't go back here. The interference is too much. Like, there's just too much house between me and the drone for the VTX, the video transmitter, sorry, not visual transmitter, to transmit properly. Even when I'm sitting outside on that balcony, it's just not good enough. Here I'm sort of getting to the limits when it comes to distance because I'm sitting inside still. But otherwise, pretty good. The sun is a brilliant ball in the sky there. It was lovely weather the entire time we were there. It was fantastic. Yeah, so again, just sort of trying to work out what the routes are, where the gaps are, what I can fly, what I can't fly, what I can do, what I can't do. Trying to get a feel for it. It's also been some time since I've flown the drone, like literally it had been ages since I'd flown. So I wasn't super confident with my actual drone skills either. But we're getting better as we go along. I got better and better and better. Look, I made it down the stairs without touching anything. Fantastic. And yeah, you know, flying around this bottom room as well. There was a bunch of bedrooms and stuff off here. This is literally a holiday house. I think it's like an Airbnb as well. But yeah, this place was fantastic. I mean, there's also another room with a pool, not a pool table, a table tennis table and a dartboard in it. And yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. This place is really great. 2 TVs, there's one upstairs and one downstairs. Lots of bedrooms, some bunk beds if you bring the kids along. It's pet friendly. You will see that there are 2 little dogs running around, Walter and Quincy. Walter is the black one, Quincy is the orange one. Yeah, they're in shot soon, I think, because I'm going to run out of battery soon and I'm going to land, and then I think I missed the table and Walter and Quincy will be in shot. Anywho, this is literally me just trying to exhaust this battery. I'm trying to use it up because I know I'm getting close. And then I'm like, let's go outdoors. We'll use a bit more outdoors. And then I didn't have to because that was the end of it. So new battery. Sometime in here I'll actually change days as well, and I don't know which one that is. Again, I've missed the beginning of the recording, but I think this is still the same day. I'm pretty sure this is still the same day. Later on there's a bit in the video where I actually say battery change. It's not just a battery change, it's literally a day change. But yeah, I'm starting to get the lines around this house where it's interesting to fly, where I can, really send it. The video isn't great on this first day because I'm sitting inside. On the second day, I sit outside and I fly outside rather than inside. I don't do much more indoor flying, in fact, because, okay, it's interesting, and this is definitely it's a Mobula 6. It flies well indoors. It's designed to fly indoors. It does great flying indoors, but yeah, flying this thing outdoors is something I don't get to do much, and there's no one around. It's fine, I'm not going to hit anyone. If I hit anyone, I'm probably going to hit me or one of my family members, and they're not going to sue me. Yeah, went up a bit high to see, what that's like. Later in this video on a separate day, I go up even higher just to sort of give it a go. I haven't really tested how high this thing can go. I know there are limits and you shouldn't go that high, but I am so far away from any airports or anything here. I'm relatively confident that I'm fine and I'm not, getting in anyone's way or anything. Sometimes I am worried about birds. In Australia, we have magpies that tend to swoop, and things like this, they dislike. There's also willy wagtails, we call them. I have no idea what kind of actual bird they are, but they tend to dislike drones as well, and they tend to chase it and try and scare it off because they think it's another bird invading their territory. And every now and again in the footage of some of my flights you'll actually see one, but I think I was pretty good here. I think maybe only one bird came in to have a look at it once, and it didn't really swoop it just sort of flew in close and then flew off. As it was flying past, it was like, what's that? And it went in a bit closer to have a bit of a closer look. Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit more confidence now, and I'm starting to try and really wing through this, but as you can see, don't always get it right. So here's a classic example of the crash flip. You've got to try all directions, backwards, forwards, left and right. In this case, I think it was forwards was the way that flipped, or backwards was the way that got me back up. Sometimes you just won't get over one way, but you will another way. It's weird. But yeah, the crash flip is great because it means I don't have to get up with my butt and climb downstairs and go and find it. That dog there was Quincy, wearing his little diaper. They are excitable little dogs, and to keep them from peeing inside, they have little diapers. They don't have to wear them all the time, especially when they're outside, they don't, but at the moment the door's open and they can come in as much as they want. And there's a good look at them. Walter, right up in the camera, and Quincy there in the background. Right, fresh battery, and I think this is the day change. I think this is me actually outside now. So now I am actually sitting outside with the drone. Here's Walter and Quincy again. No longer in diapers because they don't need to be because they are outdoors. Yeah, and so I think I'd had more flight time. So I'm starting to really learn the lines of this place. So I'm starting to, hit it a little bit faster. Oops, still clipping things occasionally though. But that's the great thing about this drone. I have crashed it pretty hard a lot of times. I'm still on my first frame. I'm still on my first set of props. I have extra props. I don't have an extra frame. They don't give you a spare frame. But, the frame's cheap and you can buy them at most drone shops. You can buy the same frame. Then you can just get another one. There's also similar ones that will fit all the same parts that I could get. But I haven't found the need to buy another frame. I must say the Mobula 6, okay, I don't have a lot of experience. It's not like I've flown a lot of other drones. But this thing is great. Compared to the Tiny Go, which was really hard to learn to fly, it's an RTF kit. It's marketed as a beginner kit, but if you ask me, I don't think beginners should try and fly that thing. It's too hard. Now the Mobula 6 is not in a kit. I think it really should be. I really think Happy Model should make a simple kit with a decent controller, a average set of goggles. It is nice if you can get a set of goggles with a basic DVR on it, but that's, you can get away without it. But I really think this thing should be in a beginner kit because this is, in my opinion, the best drone to learn to fly on. It is so forgiving, it is hardy, it takes crashes like a champ. Like I said, I've put it through its paces, I've stacked it, I've hit it hard into things. I've drove it into the ground, like cratered into the ground practically. And this thing is fine. It's you know, it's got grass stains all over it. I've dropped it in the sink. I've literally dropped it in a sink full of dishes and dishwashing detergent and water, and all I did was let it dry out and put a battery back in it and flew fine. I literally did nothing to it. Like that being said, I have no idea whether that did anything to the motors, but clearly it didn't because that was, you know, I've flown it several times since I've dropped it in that sink. This is after having dropped it in the sink. And yeah, I'm not having any problems. As you can see, I've started to get a bit confident about the lines around the place now. I'm really giving it a bit of oomph, flying around outside of the property a little bit. Yeah, it really sort of worked out where the gaps are and which gaps I can hit and how hard I can hit them, how fast I can go. There are places here where you'll see the wind fighting me. Not particularly this one, a little bit later in this sequence, I believe in this day. And there's my fat ass. Yeah, battery change. New battery. Once again, didn't start the DVR as early as I should have. Yeah, just flying around again. Pretty similar lines. Yeah, duck. Trying to work this line. This is a kind of a cool line, like almost a low-high loop, where you can go low and go up the stairs, and then you can go high and sort of go through the gazebo bit. I don't know what I was actually going for here. I think I was just like, what else can I do? Sometimes that's also, you know, I mean, this drone is great at exploring too. Like, if you want to take it easy, lay off on the sticks and just go slow, go gentle, you can totally do that. You can totally just explore and see what you can find, see what you can see. But the great thing is you can also go full tilt and it'll... I mean, it's not a super fast drone, but it's fast enough for me. I have a great time with it at its top speed. Like when I'm really, really going hard and trying to get some speed going, it's fun. It's great fun. It absolutely hammers. Yeah. There's not heaps more to say. There will be other interesting things to comment on, but I think I'm sort of in a piece in this video now where I've got a bit of confidence and I'm not really hitting stuff very often. I'm mostly just flying around the areas that I know and where I know I'm relatively safe to fly. Which is why I'm sort of doing more commentary on the actual drone itself. It's a good little drone. The major improvement I would say now is that there is an ELRS version. ELRS is great for flying at longer ranges and also great for flying behind things. The problem is, I don't think they've upgraded the VTX on this, and this is a 25 milliwatt VTX, which means there's not a lot of power going through the video system, which means that you can't get very far away before the video breaks up. And if the video breaks up, well, you can't see what you're doing, you can't fly your drone. So there's no point trying to fly where you can't see. So I don't know how ELRS is supposed to sort of help these, because with the VTX limited to such a low power and not being able to get far enough away, they are very small batteries. You still only get like 3 minutes, 4 minutes of flight time max, and that's if gently cruising as opposed to, you know, hitting it hard. Yeah, I don't know what ELRS is really supposed to bring to this, other than if you have an ELRS radio, you might want to use ELRS because you might not have, you know, an ELRS module. You might just have a plain straight up ELRS radio and not have any other protocols like FreeSky or whatever else there is. So if you are on just a plain ELRS radio, there is an ELRS version available. There's also an HD version available. It adds weight. I've heard people say it's not as good. It's heavier, it doesn't fly as well, it doesn't fly as long, but it does record DVR on board the actual drone itself in HD, and I think that's 4K, might be 1080, I'm not sure. I'd have to actually look that up, and I haven't. and my computer has just literally decided that I'm not doing anything and it's going to go to sleep, which is really funny. Because I'm literally sitting here watching this video, recording this audio in Audacity as a separate sort of thing. My monitor's actually just turned off and my computer tried to go to sleep. Anywho, yeah, so again, I'm more confident now. I'm, wigging it around at speed, which will, my hubris will come back to haunt me here in a minute, I think. Somewhere here I stack it. I don't know when that's going to happen, but somewhere here I stack it. Now, some of these lines are lines I haven't tested out, but, my confidence is up, so I'm, hammering it through gaps and just like, there's a new gap, I'll hit that. There's a gap I could take, I haven't tried that one. Let's hit that gap. Yeah, I don't need to worry about smacking myself in the head, which I do later. Not very hard, I just clip my antenna. So that's okay, but I have actually smacked myself in the side of the head pretty hard before. It doesn't hurt. With the tiny goat, and here I've discovered this gap and I'm like, ooh, that's something I could try and hit. And I do, and yeah, I'm like, okay, well it's there, but it's not that great. Later on I messed that up a few times. There's definitely some video footage where I got it stuck and I actually had to get up and go down there and get it. But yeah, there's places to fly, you can fly around all over the place. And that is the fun of these drones, is that it's not like flying these same lines over and over again, while not the most interesting of viewing, is absolutely 100% super entertaining to fly. Like, you see the guys that review these things and they fly it around their houses, new battery. They fly it around their houses and you're like, don't you get bored flying around your house? No, you don't. It's really, really fun. It's an expensive hobby to get into, but one well worth it. Once you sort of get the hang of it, and especially like tiny whoops like I'm flying, like it's small, I'm really, really hammering it now. Like today I must really have my confidence up and I'm flying hard. And that is making the motors make a much higher whine, so the dogs are getting a bit aggravated as well. Anyway, yeah, you see that was fast. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so tiny whoops and something. Oh yeah, like they're just super fun. You can fly them around inside all day, all night. You don't get heaps long before the battery dies. Yeah, there you go, hubris. I took off then way too close to Walter, but it's all right. I didn't hurt him. He didn't get messed up. He came over to sniff it, and I kind of forgot there were dogs there. That's my brother. Whoop, clips my thing because, surprise, surprise, like I didn't know he was there. He walked out, he started talking, I'm like, oh crap, there's a person here. And then I was already heading towards us, and then he was kind of in the path I'd intended to take. So I had to avoid him, and instead I ended up clipping myself. But again, like even if I'd smacked him in the face, the damage would have been minimal. I'd be unlikely to give him a blood nose even. Whoa, I don't know what happened there. Something went weird and I definitely sort of lost control. It might have been a big gust of wind. Oh, and then I just absolutely nailed it. But as you can see, like the Mobula 6 takes it like a champ. There's some stuff later where I actually try to flick over to Horizon mode for a little bit to maybe do some tricks. I think better of it, and during that time when I'm flying in Horizon mode, I have a pretty heavy hit, and the drone actually seems to lose concept of what is up and down, and it's sort of at about a 35-degree angle sideways, it thinks is up, which means it was actually kind of hard to fly, and I had to bring it back and reset it, and yeah. I didn't have to really reset it or anything. Basically, if I'd known that just putting it down and disarming and rearming would reset which way it thinks is up and which way it thinks is down, I would have done that. But I didn't know what was wrong, so I wanted to actually bring it back to me so I could look at it. And every now and again I will also bring it back to me because, especially after a big hit like that, you might think, have I done something to the props? I think this is it. I think here, yeah, see, so I'm squeezing the props because I'm like, sometimes when you have a hard crash, the props will come a bit loose and slide up on the axle a little bit. So I was worried that they were sliding up on the axle here. I was getting a bit of resistance in certain directions, but it was probably just the wind. I remember checking the props here and they were fine. There was nothing wrong with them. And then yeah, here you can see I'm fighting the wind a little bit. So yeah, it was just the wind. We were cool. There was nothing wrong with this. I am about to run out of battery soon, so I get a few more passes and then it's time for a new battery. But yeah, again, still, I'm hammering it way harder than I was on the first few days. And it was much more fun to fly outdoors than indoors. There were some cool lines and stuff to do indoors. And I did fly it more indoors, but I don't actually have any DVR footage of that. So again, new battery. I have no idea how many batteries I've gone through or how many days this actually takes place over. In some of these cases, I say battery change, and it's actually a whole different day. I really don't remember. Nor do I know why it's taking me so long to actually arm this time. Oh, I'm considering putting it into Horizon mode. So I do. I arm it, disarm it, Horizon mode, arm it. Let's go. So, as you can see, Horizon mode handles very differently. Look at the tilt I can get on it. I can actually tilt it down and, yeah, flip it over, like complete rolls like that, and I can do flips. I tried to just do a backflip there, but halfway through it, it decided, it just made up its mind, and I ended up doing something similar to what they call a Rubik's Cube, but not really. But yeah, that was actually the Horizon mode doing all that for me. Now it's actually harder for me to just fly around like this. Ah, and there's that, see? Now the drone thinks that that sort of sideways is where the horizon is. It's flying at a sort of, 30-degree angle. So now I'm having to correct and bring it home. And then, yeah, I've crashed it because it was really hard to actually bring back and I didn't want to hit my brother with it. But yeah, basically I've picked it up, I've checked it, I've tried to work out what the hell's wrong with it. There's my unshaven face again. Yeah, and then I arm it again and it's sort of fine, and then after very little flying, I'm just, nah, screw Horizon mode. I'm having enough fun in stability mode. We'll save Horizon mode for when I've had more practice and, actually been flying in Horizon to get a feel for it, because this was the first time I'd flicked it over to Horizon mode in months. I haven't flown in anything but stability mode in a long time. Here we go, let's go up high. Once again, still in Horizon mode, I'm just trying to check. That's pretty high. I really should have turned to face the beach, that would have been better. But anyway, the beach is over there, yeah, cool. And then I didn't know where I was because I couldn't see the ground. I'd been up so high for so long, I'm like, I have no idea where the ground is. And there I flick it back into stability mode just because I'm having enough fun. I don't need to do flips and tricks to enjoy this. It's really just fun just flying this thing in smooth lines and trying to get them faster. And, yeah, so cruising along, Walter, Quincy, the other way around actually, Quincy, Walter. I'm running out of things to say in this commentary as well, but that's okay. I don't normally do commentary on these videos. Normally they're just a video and then I'll put in some text here and there. Again, I was looking for something interesting to do here in the driveway and I couldn't find it, and then I try to go through here and I think I mess it up. No, I think I mess it up sometime soon. I stack it. And it was actually a ball that we lost, and because I stacked it, I find the ball, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So, drones. I do want to get a new drone that's actually more of an actual outdoor drone. It's still very small. It's still a 1S. 1S just kind of refers to the size of the battery, how many cells it has. It's, a 1S battery is very small. This is a 1S drone, the Mobula 6 as well. And I'm looking at getting a Flywoo Baby Nano. And I was thinking about the Baby Nano FR, which is the more freestyle one. But I've seen some reviews and some people are like, it's so marginally better than the previous one for such a massive loss of battery life. I think maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just get the regular Baby Nano. Yeah. So again, yep, trying to bring it in, but now, of course, people are like, oh, cool drone. I want to see the drone. And then it's like, well, I want to land and you're in my way. Now I have to go all the way around here to try and land. And now I'm struggling because now the battery is sagging hard. But I do manage a pretty decent landing. And new battery. And off we go again. I think this might be one of the last battery. No, I think there's one more after this. But yeah, take off, heading out this way because there's people standing around the table now and I'd like them to get out of the way. And they eventually will, but yeah. think I'm gonna hit it pretty hard here as well. Like I'm going for pace now because, yeah, we're not gonna be here forever. I've sort of mostly learned what all the cool lines around this place are. I really wanted to get lower behind that foliage as well, but the VTX always started giving me the flickery warning, like, you can't do that. You can't go that low. You're gonna lose signal and you won't be able to see what you're doing, and you're gonna fly into a fence and never see your drone again. Here's where I stack it and find the ball. We didn't know where that ball went, and now I found the ball. I do manage to recover from here. So I was saying something about oh yes, so the Mobula 6, it does have a beeper on it, but it's super, super quiet beeper. Like if you lose that in really thick trees, you have almost no chance. Unless you had your DVR on and you were recording the footage, then maybe you could use some landmarks to sort of find out where it was and maybe get closer and then listen for the beeper. The beeper also was not programmed to any switch or anything by default. I had to go into Betaflight and set up my switches and give it an actual switch and say, all right, I want this switch to be the beeper so that if I need to find my drone, I can turn the beeper on and go looking for it. And I did have to do it once while we were at this holiday house. I had to go and turn the beeper on and go out and look through all the grass and stuff, all these plants and things to try and find my drone, because I stacked it and I had no idea where I was when I stacked it, and I didn't have the DVR on, so I couldn't go through the footage. Luckily the dogs were interested in the drone and they sort of ran over close to it, and my niece Esme as well, she's the one currently playing with the ball. She saw where the dogs were going and then she spotted the drone, and I was like, oh, phew, I thought I'd lost it. Again, the other great thing about drones of this size, if you do lose one, they're not a massive investment. Like the 5-inch drones, like they can be, well, I don't actually know, but hundreds of dollars worth of hardware at the very least, I assume. They've got to be pretty expensive. Whereas this thing, I think, cost me like 120 bucks Australian total. So that's only like $50 American, basically. It's cheap. It's great. I mean, it's old technology now. The Mobula 6 has been out a long time. I don't know when they're going to get around to making something new. There are newer, better motors and stuff. They could probably make a new version that's more efficient and stuff. And I don't know whether they'll bother because the current version is great. All right, I think this is the last or second to last battery. I think this is still the same day, and I imagine it is because there's my brother. That is my radio. I am using the T8 Pro. I can't remember whether that's Radio Master T8 Pro or not. Anyway, the T8 Pro. It's good. It has FreeSky on it, which is what I wanted, and it's better than the Ready to Fly kit, the Gepper RC Tiny Go's Ready to Fly kit radio, which can only fly the Gepper RC Tiny Go receiver that comes on the drone. So I couldn't fly this Mobula 6 without buying a new radio. And it was the one I wanted. Now, a lot of the pros were saying, get the Jumper T Lite. Like out of the two, they're priced almost exactly the same. The Jumper T Lite's got an expansion bay and it does this and it does that. The Jumper T Lite had two reasons why I didn't want it. One, if you forget to put the antennas on and you power up your radio for too long, you'll blow up your radio. Two, the battery for the radio is removable, and if you plug it in backwards and it doesn't have like one of the little nubbles on it, like your standard AA, it's really obvious which way the battery has to go in. The battery for the T-Lite doesn't have that. Oh yeah, I try a little bit of indoors and I stack it almost immediately behind the TV, and then recover and then decide, no, let's not do indoors, let's go back outdoors and let's just stay out there. Yeah, the T-Lite, you can plug the battery in backwards and then boom, there goes your radio. So the T8 Pro is idiot proof. You can't remove the antenna is internal. There's no way to mess up the antenna. Yeah, a lot of wind. The wind is really fighting me now. You can see me sort of leaning into it, trying to get home. Yeah, the T8 Pro, basically because I'm a noob, it had those two advantages that I really wanted to take. Oh, that was a big stack. And that's the end. Yeah, so like I said, the T8 Pro, it had two big advantages that I really wanted to take care of, and that is it's noob-proof. You can't accidentally blow up your radio by putting the battery in backwards or messing up forgetting to put the antennas on. Other than that, guys, that is going to do it for this video. That was all the flying that I got done. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment, change your notification settings, because it's super random when I upload a video and when I go live. Other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.